Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna, and today I am here with the talented Erin Duvall. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. How are you?
I am doing awesome. It is, as we said earlier, Monday number 2 of the week, aka Tuesday for everyone else.
That's right. That's right. I feel like I'm in like Groundhog's Day all over again.
Oh, I can totally relate to that right now.
It's, those holiday
It's scary.
weekends, yeah, they're kind of hard. And then we just had like this crazy ice storm here in Texas. And it's funny because when we get like just a little bit of weather,
Mhm.
it shuts down our state. And it was really bad a couple years ago, but it wasn't that bad this year, but it still like shut down schools for 4 days. And I just kept being like, oh, this is for real. Like they're not going to school again. And then it was like my birthday in the middle of it and everything was closed down. I was like, yeah, this is not how I envisioned this going, but okay, here we are. But yes, so here we are again, Groundhog's Day.
Oh,
Yet another
well,
day off.
being from the Northeast originally, I can honestly relate to the everything being closed, but up there it had to be
Y'all
like
are
4 foot of snow
prepared
and
though. Y'all are so prepared. I lived in Colorado for a while. Like y'all know how to run these things, right? Like we have no salt machines. We got no de-icers. I think we have like one de-icer in the entire Metroplex area. I'm like, okay, maybe we should invest in some of those. So, but it's all right. The kids enjoy it. It makes for snow days on repeat. And I think I had 15 children in and out of my house all day long. Lots of wet feet and so it was fun. It's always fun.
Fun chaos, that's what it is, right?
Exactly right.
Oh, well, I'd love to start out with one of the most difficult questions. I promise this should be the only difficult question.
Okay.
Tell us, who is Erin Duvall?
Oh, okay. That one's not too difficult. So I wear many faces every single day. And I bounce between single mother of 4 children, to singer-songwriter performer, and then again, entrepreneur. I balance all the faces. It's a really delicate dance. But it really makes up who I am and it makes me tick. It really makes me a better friend, a better mother, a better significant other. Don't have one right now, but I have had one before. And it makes me a better sister, a better daughter. And it's all this kind of beautiful circular unit that works together. And it's a lot. And it might not always work for other people, but it works for me. Somebody else today was asking me, how do you do all that? And I said, well, it's really about compartmentalizing. I was like, I've learned really well how to balance my time and also compartmentalize everything. So Erin Duvall is lots of faces, lots of hats, but to my core, I'm a very down to earth person. I'm super real. I'm not surface at all. And if you get to know me, I'm just a good old Southern girl who likes country music. So, yeah, I can go on, but I know you're going to ask other questions, which will open up lots of pockets to discuss.
Well, that is a great beginning description. And I think in most cases, most of us women, we do wear many hats, and that is a great talent to compartmentalize, what you're doing, because I know I have a day job that's different from what I do in the interviews and things like
Sure.
that, and yeah, I do some songwriting and things like that, but basically my 9 to 5 is not even close to music. So it's a whole different, mentality,
Right.
thought, and even just the process of switching gears to, okay, what are we talking about now? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's a total balancing act. And
Mhm.
some days it feels harder to wear all those different hats. And some days you're like, I got this. I'm on top of the world. And I think that's what's so great about being a woman is we're given all these opportunities to wear so many different hats. It's just about taking them and putting them on and going for it. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about all that.
Absolutely. So let's start talking music here. And your latest release, Too Little Too Late, came out on Valentine's Day. Love it.
Well, it's I won't say it's the anti-Valentine's Day song, but it is for anybody that has been in the wrong relationship and needed to get out. Whether that's a friendship, whether that's a work relationship, whether that's an actual relationship. It's just not, don't let anybody dim your light. And if they do, then say too little too late to that. And we kind of thought it was fitting to release it on Valentine's Day because there's a lot of women out there that, aren't getting the candy delivered or the flowers or the balloons or whatever it is. And I wanted them to know that they are so loved too. And you need to choose love. You need to support love. You need to believe in love, even if it's not something that's currently at your doorstep. And most importantly, you need to believe in self-love. Because if you have self-love, then you're the best version of yourself for everybody else around you and all the other relationships that you get into. And so, yeah, Too Little Too Late was super fun to write. And it's for anybody that needs to say, peace out. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. So
That's exactly it. I mean, the self-love, it was perfect for that because it really did embody a Valentine sentiment, like you were saying, because there are times not everyone has that feeling of self-love and worth and things like that. And just the way that made you feel in general, as just listening to it, just made you feel very positive, very uplifted. And you know what? Take that self-love, self-care and be who you are. And that just message resonates everywhere, I think.
that's right. Yeah. And that's, if I've learned anything in my journey, it's really, it's not about being selfish. It's about making sure that you put your oxygen mask on first before you take care of everybody else. I learned along the way, I'm definitely a caretaker. So for a really long time, I mean, I had to rewire my brain to think this way. And I'm glad that I have because it's allowed me to soar to much greater heights. But yeah, for the longest time, I would take on everybody else's problems, be like, I got you, I'll fix this, I got it, whatever. And then I wasn't so much mentally breaking, but I was like more physically breaking. I'd get sick a lot or whatever. And then I realized, oh, that's an internal stress. So, how do you rewire your brain to realize that self-love is so important? And I think too, being a woman, that there's a lot of pressure, obviously, on our plates to be the best of everything, right? So some women, if they work too much, and they're moms, they don't spend enough time with their kids. And then there's other women who want to be with their children and they don't work enough. And I think that everybody needs to cut everybody a little bit of slack. Like we're all just doing the best we can. And it is a balancing act and it's a delicate dance. And we're just day by day, hour by hour, trying to put forth the best version of ourselves. And some days you're going to crash and burn. And some days you are flying high at great heights. So that song's just for anybody that needed to find their way out of anything that was bringing them down.
Absolutely. And that definitely did it for sure.
Good. Glad to hear it.
So tell me, how did you get into music?
Oh gosh. Like Lady Gaga says, I was born this way. I was that child, my parents, so I'm the fourth of five kids. I was that kid that my parents were like, oh, goodness, child, like it's not always a stage. And I was like, oh, but it is, we'd be at restaurants and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get up and go talk to that person, I'm gonna do this. And I was always performing. So from a very young age, I was just performing in any facet that I could. And then when I got to high school, I did all the musicals and then I was a cheerleader and I did the choir. And then when I was gonna go to college, I got some callbacks from Tish and was going to go there for NYU to do musical theater. And then I really just had this moment of, I want to be a kid for a minute because I had really exhausted myself with my schedule of all the performing things. And it was wonderful, but I went to college and I got my degree in journalism. So I focused on writing. And I went to the University of Texas, hook 'em horns. And the communication school there is one of the best ones in the country. And so it was really neat to focus on my writing skills. And yeah, and then I just kept songwriting from there. I even turned down a full-time job with Ralph Lauren in New York City to go back to my music. So that's just how much it's ingrained in me. I don't feel like I know any other way. And anytime any other creative avenue knocked on my door, music always was screaming so much louder to come back. So I've always been that performer.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. So do you have a favorite uh performance that you had like in high school that you were like, that was my favorite performance?
I was Rizzo in Grease. And honestly, that was probably such a fitting character for me because she's this fierce, independent woman. But really, when you take away her like hard exterior, she's very sensitive on the inside and she's hurting. And I don't think at the time I realized how much we would be reflective of one another. But I loved playing her. I loved singing her ballad. And then I was a dancer too. So, like, just being able to do all the three elements of being in musical theater was wonderful. But she by far was my most favorite character.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Love it. So tell me now, all this music, all the influence and things like that, who are some of the women that inspire you in general and musically?
Oh, okay. In general, well, in general, my mother is probably one of my biggest inspirations because she is, gosh, that woman's got more grace in her pinky than I think most people do in their entire body. She started a lot of charity events for really, really fabulous organizations here in town that are still running 40 years later. And she's an amazing mother and an incredible wife. And and now she's an incredible grandmother to 16 grandchildren. So personally, she's probably like my all time greatest. My musical theater teacher growing up was definitely a huge influence on me as well. But then from the country, standard, obviously Dolly Parton. I mean, I've been listening to her since I was in diapers. Shania Twain. I mean, that woman, I think Kelsey Ballerini said it the best. It was like, here's the lines. And Shania's like, yeah, I'm going to move them. And I love that idea because Shania really did come in, and now of course she's back with a full vengeance. But she was so incredible. Trisha Yearwood, Faith Hill. I mean, I could go on and on, but those were all kind of the Dina Carter. I mean, those are all the voices of my childhood that I wanted to emulate. But Dolly to me is, oh, her songwriting is just so incredible, and the things that she's done that people don't even realize that she's done. And she's so humble and she's so gracious. She's probably my biggest inspiration from a female country perspective. But there's also so many women that are doing amazing things now. I mean, I'm so impressed with what women in country are doing. And it's really so great to be in this industry and kind of, hopefully one day getting to do some stuff with all of them.
That is beautiful. Yeah, I love that you mentioned Dolly because yes, she's been like my all-time favorite songwriter for like ever. And
Ever.
yeah, ever. Like, there's like that totem of if you had to pick your top five. Well, Dolly's above top five. So it's Dolly and
I
then you
agree.
pick five, right? So
that's how I feel. I'm like, she just needs to stand here and then you can bring in the next five.
yes.
She's
yes.
the queen, right? I mean,
Yes.
George is the king. She's the queen. And I mean, you want to talk about a guy like, I mean, I grew up on George. I mean, Texas kid person, so like George Strait. I mean, my poor children, we go to the lake house and I'm like, you can't listen to anything else. It's George Strait or Dolly, so, and that's how we were raised too. It's like, don't turn the channel, and then obviously being from Texas too, Willie Nelson, he's amazing.
Absolutely.
He's awesome guy, so I feel like there's just so many that I could go for hours on that.
Absolutely. Even going over to the guys at Chris Christopherson. I mean,
yeah. I've met him, by the way.
Yeah.
I've met him. Yes, I have a picture with him awesome. At a charity event. I love singing his song. Me and Bobby McGee and Janis Joplin, also another female that I really just admired her work forever. But yeah, I got to meet him, and then he actually did end up singing me and Bobby McGee that night, which was pretty cool.
Awesome. Definitely awesome when you get to,
You're right. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was
Yeah,
fantastic. So
especially when you grow up as a kid, and that's, you get to know these names and what they do as songwriters, and they're not, like, I hate to say that they're not out in the forefront. I mean, yes, Willie, Dolly, yes, some of them are, but like Chris Christopherson, by the time, even in the early 90s, when I was able to start going to concerts and things like that, it was kind of like, well, he's not really touring, so it's not like I could go see him, right?
right.
So
Right. There's this amazing charity event in Austin that we've been a part of for years and years. It's called Mac Jack McConaughey. So it's Matthew McConaughey, Mac Brown, and then Jack Ingram, who Jack Ingram, I don't know if you know him very well, but he's a Texas artist, incredible songwriter. He was one of the ones who wrote Thin Man. Then he did Martha Tapes with Miranda Lambert and John Randall. But he does this one night that is basically a songwriter's night. So I mean, he's brought in the Love Junkies. He's brought in Morgan Wade. He brought in, I mean, obviously John Randall and Jesse Alexander come every year. And it's just been so incredible to like sit back and listen to them tell the stories to these songs that you've heard for decades, but they wrote them. And I love, like, that's probably my favorite night because I just sit there and relish in their like storytelling moments. And that's one of my favorite things, obviously, of music is how a song can start as this tiny little seed and turn into this gigantic production. And then even further when you take it to a stage, it's really such a beautiful process.
and it's absolutely timeless. If you
That's
think
right.
about it, and most of the stories are timeless, even though they might be set in a different time period. If you look through that, it's love, it's this, it's just different things that are all timeless. Music, everything.
That's exactly right. That's right. And that's what's so great about country music. It's the storytelling. I mean, even with Too Little Too Late, it's not like I was saying anything differently that people haven't heard before. It was just I was saying it at a different time with a different kind of backspin on it, right? And maybe a little bit of a different melody. But it's a story about heartbreak, right? And how do you turn that heartbreak into something beautiful and grow from your journey? And that's really been something I've had to sit in, and writing the whole album was very cathartic for me. And it really took me to a new place, and I'm thankful for it.
Well, so off the album, let me tell you, are there any that you're like, this is my favorite song? And I know sometimes they change because like your kids, you can't just pick one, right? Like they're all your favorite. So
That's true. Well, gosh, that's hard. I wrote a song for my parents for their 50th wedding anniversary called To Be Here. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Love Like Yours. To Be Here, I wrote for my children, which also is very, very special to me. As being a parent is spelled out in time, and it's not really about what you do, but it's really about being there when they really don't need you. But the song I wrote for my parents is probably one of my favorite songs ever. It's just so beautifully done. I give my producers so much credit. I work with Terry and Simeon Baker of the Baker Brothers. They're incredible. Terry Baker has played drums with Kirk Franklin for 25 years. He just got off that Maverick City Kirk Franklin tour, and they won so many Grammys. But yeah, I mean, that song's so beautiful. And it's really just about this little girl reflecting, and as she grows, how all she's ever wanted was a love like yours. And the way she emulates her parents and just watches them from afar and realizes that what they have is so special and not easy to have. And so yeah, it's a great song. I'm not really sure when that one's coming out yet. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. But that's probably one of my favorites.
definitely excited for that. Definitely excited.
And then there's some of the more upbeat ones that I love doing on stage that are just like so theatrical. I mean, Too Little Too Late's one of them. The last concert that we did, we started the entire thing with Too Little Too Late, and it was like lights out, and then it hit the stage, and there was like this, shadow reflection of me, and it was just so like everybody was like on their feet, like what is happening, and that's the theatrical side of me. Like I love putting together a good show because it's so great. But then I also love moments where we strip it down and it's me and acoustic guitar. So we kind of take you on a roller coaster when we do our shows, right? We start high and then we get intimate and then we end high. So it's fun. I love all of it.
Oh, So that's what you can all expect if you go see Erin live. Hmm?
That's right, guys. Have a tequila, beer, whatever. Enjoy yourself.
You know, the description will be in the website will be in the description. Yeah, I'm talking backward today. It's still Monday number 2. Sorry.
Still Monday number 2. You're good. You're good. That's exactly right.
Would you like to do our 13 crazy questions?
Sure.
I'll try to promise we won't get arrested.
Okay. I'm not sure I can promise that, but okay, go.
Perfect. Tell me, do you have any guilty pleasure music?
Musical theater. I mean, I still blare Rent. Like I'll be like Dear Evan Hansen, waving through a window. I mean, I love Ben Platt. I love anything that Lin-Manuel's wrote. I mean, I'm also kind of a dork and not a dork. I'm a child at heart. I still listen to Disney and my kids like Disney and I still sing them. So, yeah, anything super theatrical is probably my guilty pleasure.
Nothing wrong with Disney at all. I don't think there's anything guilty about it.
Yeah, I mean, but like Rent, Legally Blonde, oh God, Aida, Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen. There's just so many wonderful musicals out there, and they're all my childhood. So I still love to crank them up.
Beautiful. Okay, finish the sentence. Today, my favorite song is.
Today, my favorite song is I Forgot That You Existed by Taylor Swift.
Great song.
I know. It isn't love. It isn't hate. It's just indifference. And I love that line. Love that line so much. I'm like, perfectly said, girl. Like, I don't love you. I don't hate you. I just don't care. And I love that. And so I was actually listening to that today. And so, yeah, today, that's my favorite song.
Love it. Love it. I'll have to ask you for song recommendations daily because you have a great list of people that you like and listen to. So,
I listen to a lot.
Okay. So I know you love those songwriters, obviously, Nights and things like that. Tell me your favorite or best concert, whichever, they could be both or not, that you've ever attended.
Actually, probably one of my first concerts. Garth Brooks, he walked through the fire. And I will never be able to take away that feeling that I felt when he did that. I went, oh my God, this is so cool. I was like, that is right. That's what I want to do. And I love Garth Brooks. Oh my gosh, I love Garth Brooks so much. And so, yeah, that's probably one of them. I've seen a lot of really great concerts, but that one just kind of like imprinted on my soul or something.
Oh yeah, we all have those. When I got to see, and this is going back to like the 1960s music, when I got to see one of those artists, I was like, oh my God. I was like,
seriously.
It was so cool. But I mean, like at that point, no one else really knew who this, well, I shouldn't say no one. I should say no one my age knew who this person was. And I was like, it was just the coolest thing. I was like, I get to see one of these, yeah, like it was crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, they clearly weren't well versed. They didn't know. Just kidding.
Right? Who doesn't know the song "It's My Party"? I mean, come on.
Oh, come on! Seriously, they didn't know that one?
Yeah.
Maybe you needed an upgrade.
Apparently, I didn't have such cool friends in like middle school or whatever. So
yeah, it's a growing period.
Definitely. Hey, those same people now admit they like country music, so I'll go with it.
They've grown too. There you go.
Absolutely. So tell our audience music recommendations that they need to listen to before they die. A few artists, CDs, whatever, albums.
Yeah, anything Chris Stapleton's done. The CMA performance of Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake together. If you haven't watched that, you have not lived. Let's see. Thomas Rhett's latest double album was fantastic. I will say Kelsey Ballerini's latest album, love, love, love. Carly Pierce 29 was really good. Let's see, who else? Does it all have to be country?
No.
If you haven't watched Dear Evan Hansen, like go watch it in New York. if you haven't seen Hamilton, go watch it live. Don't watch it on Disney. Not saying they didn't do a great job, but go watch it live. I mean, if you haven't seen Greatest Showman, I mean, Pasek and Paul did an incredible job with the music there. Oh, God. You want me to get my phone out? I'll keep going.
I think anything, if you haven't seen it on Broadway, it's like, I hate to say it, you haven't seen it, but that's growing up in near that area. We used to go up and see a show once in a while. It was, yeah. There's
I just took my kids
to
New York for the first time, and we went to see Aladdin, which I've seen 8,000 times, but just to like watch it through their eyes was like pure magic. I mean, just to be like, oh my gosh, the genie winked at me. Like my 5-year-old twins are like, oh. And then one of my 5-year-old twins was actually walking around with a playbill yesterday, and she's like, I'm going to marry Aladdin. And I was like, well, Aladdin is probably 25 in this. I was like, Aladdin, or the character who played Aladdin? She's like, the character who played Aladdin. He's very cute. And I was like, I think he's probably 25 and you're 5. So I'm assuming by the time you get there, it may be too late, but I like the dream, girl. I was like, and then she kept going, uh-oh, someone stole my man. Like, she's 5. And I was like, okay, girlfriend, you do you, but to watch live theater through a child's eyes even is even better than just watching live theater. So I say immerse yourself in any form of live music that you possibly can.
I will never forget Aladdin now. I will just, anytime I see Aladdin, I will immediately think of your daughter. I'm going to be like, oh, that's it.
Well, and then my boys who are 9 and 10, there's a part where he was, clearly like playing it up, but he got irritated, the genie did, and he flipped a scarf around his shoulders and popped on some sunglasses and goes, call my agent, I quit. And he shut the door. And so now my little boys, when they're mad about something, they'll go, call my agent, I quit. And then they'll walk out of the room and they're being so funny. And it just kind of always puts me into stitches because I'm like, just envision this amazing genie that we got to see. Oh God, he was fantastic. But yes, so Aladdin, now you'll always think of me in Aladdin.
Absolutely. So tell me something on your bucket list.
Bucket list. Oh gosh, there's so many things. I want to go to Australia. I've toured. I've not toured a lot, but I've traveled a lot in Europe. I want to play at the Opry. I want to play at the Ryman, and I want to play at Red Rocks. So those 3 are my bucket list for performance places. And I want to go to Australia, and I want to go back to Italy and tour around more. So, I have it depends on which thing we're talking about. So travel, I got a whole bucket list there. Music, I got a whole bucket list there. For my children, I have a whole bucket list. But yeah, so those are some of the top ones. Opry, if you're listening, I love you.
Give Erin a call now. Come on, let's do it.
Call me. Call me. I got all the stories in the world. I'm your kind of girl, I promise.
And backstage, call me up so we can do a quick live and be like, hey, look, we're at the Opry. Yeah,
that's exactly right. We'll be like, we discussed this.
Yep.
So yeah, that's one of them for sure. That's the top, one of the tops right now for sure.
So that's now out in the universe, and now that will happen, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. My team all knows. I'm like, I put this in the universe, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go make it happen. So,
if we made a movie about your life tomorrow, who would you want to play you? We know it's going to be a musical of sorts, but
Well, she got to be a redhead too. So someone who's a redhead that sings, maybe Amy Adams.
Ooh.
I just got asked today if I was Jessica Chastain when where were we recently? Oh, I was in Cabo on a girls' trip and I got stopped 3 times. Are you Jessica Chastain? And I was like, well, first of all, she's a lot taller than me, but thank you. But probably Amy Adams because she got the red hair and the girl can sing. So she can play me. I'd be beyond honored.
Okay, well, this next question is very serious.
Ooh.
Do you have a game plan for zombie apocalypse?
Well, let's see. I'm going to have all of our friends over and let the children run wild in the game room in the backyard, and the adults are just all going to enjoy and say, we're going down together. So there you go.
I like the game plan.
I've learned in life, you can't control everything. So sometimes you just got to sit back, have a tequila, and say, okay, here we go. So that's my plan. Probably not a very good one, but
and don't forget the tequila
when I'm going down. Yeah, gotta have the tequila. I'll just have all my friends over. We'll all have a good time.
Oh, tell us something you would never do, like jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Oh, I've already done that. I did that in Switzerland.
You got to encourage me. I've always wanted to try it, but I don't know.
I've done paragliding in Switzerland and went skydiving in Switzerland. I blame my best friend, Megan, because she was there for both of them. Megan, if you're listening, all your fault. Tell your parents it was not me, even though they think it was. It was all you, girl. What would I not do? I wouldn't do anything that would purposely hurt my children. So that would probably be the number one thing. Or really, really purposely hurt my parents. So those are,
mm-hmm.
I'm a very morally compassed person. So I definitely think of others and would never purposely do anything to really hurt somebody.
Okay. So I know you're not killing anyone, but hypothetically, if I came to you and said, I need to hide a dead body, do you know a good place?
Well, Texas is wide and vast, sister. What ranch do you want to go to? I don't know if I'm supposed to answer that one.
I know now you just made it clear that Yellowstone did not make that up. There's really a train station somewhere.
Yeah. Have you been to Montana? Like, I spent a lot of time in Montana. Yeah, I spent a lot of time up in Whitefish, but I'll tell you, in between the places, there's a lot of open land. Mm-hmm. I don't think Yellowstone is too far off. So,
yeah, I would agree.
But Texas is similar. I mean, there's a lot of ranches around here. So, I mean, obviously I'm in the city, but it doesn't take long. I can drive 1 hour that way, and I'm not even. I could drive 30 minutes and be somewhere where there's a ranch. I'll call a person. It won't be me, but
you'll call someone that knows someone. Okay,
I'll call someone that knows someone that knows someone.
Perfect.
And then don't tell me. Oh, Lord,
I need the person that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone, and that's all I need.
I don't know. I'm assuming somewhere down the line we've got to know somebody.
Right.
Somewhere, some way. You said I can't go to jail, so.
Yeah, I can't go to jail either. No.
No. I got too many kids. That won't work.
It's too pretty for prison, right? That's
I like a good manicure, and I don't see that happening in prison. I like getting my hair done. I like to work out. No, I just know that's not a good look for me. Stripes. No. No. Are they vertical?
Vertical are okay.
Yeah, I mean, those are at least, lengthening. Yeah. The other way, it's just not good for you. So not at that thick consistency. So
I would agree.
I'm not sure they want you to look your best, but it wouldn't work for me.
Tell me something you're afraid of.
Snakes. Oh, Lord. God took his legs away for a reason. I mean, I hate snakes. I hate them. Like, they terrify me so much. And I used to date this guy in college, and he had this roommate that had a snake, and they thought it was so damn funny to chase me around in the apartment. And I would literally lock the bathroom door. Well, don't forget, snakes can flatten pretty low. So he would work his way under the door, and I'm like, I'd lose my ever-living mind. So no, I don't do snakes, and this is not for me. You better have a shovel or a rifle or something. No, I'd rather be in a pit of sharks than in a pit of snakes. I think you'd go faster with the sharks.
You definitely would fit in at my house. The other day, apparently, some of my other adult people that live here were outside, and there was a snake, and 2 out of 3 were running from it, and they didn't know where it went. And they're like, "We're running in a zigzag pattern." I'm like, "I don't think it should zigzag for a snake." But yeah, it was hysterical. Apparently, I was on a phone call, but I'm like, missed all of it.
A zigzag pattern. Okay, I'm going to take that one into consideration. I'm not sure that's necessary, though.
No, I know for gators, that's probably, but again, they do 20
Yeah.
to 35 miles per hour. So I'm like, I'm not even sure that works for a gator, the zigzag.
Yeah, I feel like he could
Hopefully.
get to you pretty quick.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, gators just don't go in the water. Like, no, they're not. I'm not a huge fan of them either. But snakes, you will watch me legit. I will be like the Roadrunner. With that red hair flying behind me. So, oh goodness.
Okay. Well, let's move way far away and let's go to music. And tell me, would you go to karaoke with me?
Sure. Gosh, yes. Let's go.
Oh, you're so kind.
What do you want to do? I got you. I'll be your backup.
Oh, yeah.
What song do you want to do? I got your BGBs. I can harmonize.
Well, I'm the carry a tune in a bucket type occasionally. So as I was telling everyone the other day, I said, everyone's going to start hearing that. My level of singing is between, if we're doing American Idol scale, like the original, William Hung to Carrie Underwood, right? So William Hung's like a 1, Carrie Underwood a 10. I can hit like a 4 or 5. So, it's pitchy, but
all right. You're in there. You're somewhere in the pocket. Wide pocket, maybe, but that's all right. I'll carry you. How about that?
That would be better. Thank you.
You just work around me and I'll carry you. Okay, got it. Okay. You prefer that plan? Understood.
I love it.
I got it.
You're the best. Thanks.
Oh, sure. Gotta help out our fellow country ladies.
Aw. If you could be any person, like your mom, Dolly Parton, or a position like a CEO or surgeon or president or whatever, who or what position would you want to be for a day and why?
Oh, for a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you would miss your kids,
Yeah, that's because I was thinking. I was originally going to answer, and then I was like, "Well, she doesn't have children." If I could for a day, I'd like to be Dolly Parton, because I would love to learn. I would just like to be a sponge and soak up that woman's knowledge. Gosh, she's done so many amazing things, and I would like to be her for a day and just come back a different person, a better person, a more knowledgeable person, a more caring person. But you're right, I'd miss my kids. So a day, maybe 5 days would cool. Could I do 5 days?
Sure, you can do 5 days.
then it gives me just a little break, and then I come back and I feel refreshed and have all this new knowledge.
Yeah, like a little vacation.
And all this new songwriting. Yeah, all this new songwriting material. Yeah, Dolly. Yeah. I'd be Dolly for 5 days.
Yeah. And what's so funny is, she's so sweet that, when she writes songs about killing people and, dogs and children, and I'm like, wow, she really has a dark side, y'all. I'm just saying. Yeah.
She does. Yeah. She does. But it's funny sometimes, that's what's so interesting about songwriting. I think if you sit and allow yourself to kind of sit in these pain or these dark spots and kind of clear through them, right, and get them out onto the paper, it does make you a better person and allows you to free those emotions, whatever they may be. And she's definitely got an empath side to her. So she's got a lot of empathy for other things. So even if she hasn't lived through it, she can feel what those emotions feel like and writes beautiful material around it.
Absolutely. And, I think that's what makes it so great because, there are those songs like Me and Little Andy and like those that are, a little more emotional and in the dark realm, if you will, depending on how you put it, but I mean, it's that dexterity is just what makes her amazing. And it reminds you of how music really started with, news from town to town, being a bard and telling the news in song. And it's just great.
That's right. It is so great. So,
do you have any words of wisdom you live by or that you'd like to share?
Well, first and foremost, I live by the golden rule. I really firmly believe in treating others the way you want to be treated. I mean, I just think kindness goes so far. And that goes down to everybody. It's, be nice to your waiter, be nice to the person who's checking you out at the grocery store, be nice to the doctor, be not, I mean, just be nice. Like, I have such a hard time sometimes when people choose to be unkind for no particular reason. And so that with my kids, especially, I'm always like, listen, you got to choose kindness always. Like, even if it's not the most popular thing to do, being kind will get you so much further in life than not being kind. And that doesn't mean you can't be aggressive in business and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you still have to like have a moral compass, right?
Yes.
And know what's right and wrong and stay on that line. So that for me, that's the most important thing that I every day wake up and say, I'm choosing kindness. And I'm also going to focus on the positive, because it's also in today's world, especially since COVID, I think it's real easy to focus on things that aren't so great. And I have to tell my kids this all the time. Look, guys, one, don't judge somebody, because first of all, you have no idea what they're going through and you don't know what's happening on behind closed doors. And secondly, there's always something that you could be annoyed or bummed about or whatever, but there's always so much more to be grateful for than there is to be bummed out about. So choose to reflect on the positive. And that helps me just because I do have a lot on my plate, but I really try. But also, I will say there's times where I need to sit in my moment and reflect. And if I get down, I'll be like, all right, I got 30 minutes. I'm going to sit in this. Maybe I'll write something. And then I'm going to get up and I'm going to go be positive again and focus on that. So that's really helped me process everything. And then it's been a lot of how I parent as well. So
that's definitely, and for some people, that is a choice. You have that choice to be one way or the other. And, it's like going back to, growing up and things like that. Even like we'd be at funerals and someone's like, you're laughing during a funeral. I'm like, yeah, we're talking about the good times, something funny that the person did or something,
right.
So that's always how we chose to remember, even the worst moments in life. Sometimes there you find humor or that positive, sad, in the worst sadness, even.
That's right.
There's always a light or a star or whatever you believe. Yeah. So love it.
And they don't, when it comes to your time to not be on this earth anymore, I mean, they want to be remembered by their good times, not by the other side of the coin, right? So it's true. You got to really sit and reflect on the positives in the world, because it is very easy to get caught up in the negativity that sadly exists in today's world, especially with social media and people. Well, hey, puppy, how you doing?
Hi. We're like, we're going for a walk. We'll see you later. Okay.
But yeah, it could, you can get caught up in all of that. And I think it's really important to realize it's not worth it. Don't match that energy.
Yeah.
Match the positive one.
Absolutely. So what do we have coming up for the rest of this year? I know you're going to have some new releases coming out. So tell everyone what's happening.
Okay, so quite a few things, actually. I have a children's animated project that I actually just wrapped writing 3 books for it. So we are getting ready to start, preparing for what that looks like, which direction we go with it, who we work with on it. So we're really excited about that. And then it's a really neat project. It's been with me for a really long time, since 2006. And it's evolved a lot, and it's ready for a wider audience. And we're really excited for people to kind of follow along and see what happens there. And then obviously a ton of new music coming out. That will be cool. We may even have a really fun summer song come out. Anybody want to kick off and do a TikTok? Let me know. TikTok dance challenge. Come on with your bad self, people. And then we've got a lot of work coming up with the foundation. So Twice the Love Foundation, my foundation raises money and awareness for single parents and helps them get back on their feet again. And we're kind of a hub for come to us, and then we can help you go where you need to go, because some people need to go one direction. They need financial help. Some need medical help. Some, there's obviously a lot of different needs that need to be met. And so we partner with different charities and help raise awareness and help raise funds. And considering we've actually just had a long meeting today, I think we're going to be doing a podcast around Twice the Love Foundation, which will be really neat because we're going to interview different single parents and, different high-powered positions. We're also going to interview some people that aren't single parents and really have that conversation, because I think it's time to rewrite the narrative around being a single parent. I think it's amazing. We are equalizing so many different categories of the world right now, and I fully support it. But single parents is not something that people talk about. And I think it's a really widely known situation in the world. And I mean, I wish it wasn't, but it is. And, sometimes it's divorce, sometimes it's death, and sometimes it's choice. But how do you equalize that conversation too? Because there are some stigmas that are around it. There's some things that the children really struggle with that people don't even realize is going on. And so I think it's just time to start having those conversations.
Absolutely. I mean, that's something we've all known someone or been that person or vice versa, whatever, that has resonated to that, whether it was they need help with watching their children because they're working a double, or, the things people don't see unless you know that person next door that might be a single parent. And it's great. All the work you're doing is great. Yeah. Looking forward to the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be fun. We're excited about it. And it's just really, it's kind of my love letter to all the single parents out there in the world. I had a very loving place to go when I came home going through my divorce. And, it is always set so heavy with me. How do these people do this when they don't have that family to love them back to the person that they need to be? I mean, I'm so strong because they held me up when I couldn't hold myself up. And a lot of people don't have that. And so, how do you help, and how do you shoulder their burden? And, just how do you help? We actually wrote a song for the foundation, and it will come out eventually, but it's Twice Love. It's called Twice Love because as a single parent, you provide twice love, but you also receive twice the love. But yes, we wrote a line, and one of the lines is, you push this jagged boulder up this hill. And I don't think people realize what we do all day, every day. I mean, my children are awesome, and we work as a unit, and, they make their beds and they start laundry and we do dishes, and, we're really like well-oiled now. But a lot of those parents you're right. They're working doubles, and their kids are turnkey kids, and they got to get to sports or whatever, or they can't afford sports. I mean, so there's so many things, and each scenario is different, but then also so alike in so many different ways. So how do you just start having these really meaningful conversations?
Absolutely. And I can't wait to hear them on the podcast and get that out, and we'll share it out on our network as well.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Well, Erin, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you. I've loved having this conversation with you. It's been so fun. And I still hope we don't go to jail.
I don't think so. I didn't actually kill anyone. I just joke about it. It has to be something with that ID channel, like Wives with Knives, Fear Thy Neighbor. All those funny, I'm like, I love these shows only because they have these unique names. I'm like, that's creative. See that humor and like dark it. And
well, and you're in the country industry world, so we got to talk about dark and twisty, right? So
exactly, because Earl's still at the bottom of the lake, and
that's right. Yeah, and then you bring up the Chicks. I mean, good grief, the Chicks is probably one of my favorite concerts too. Grew up on their music as well. So yes, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun, and I hope you enjoy all the music to come.
Thank you so much. And thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode. Make sure you follow Erin on all of our socials and for the latest updates. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.